Over 4,700 property documents within the FCT were revoked by the Federal Capital Territory Administration, led by His Excellency Nyesom Wike, for defaulting to pay ground rent. This isn't the first time demolitions and revocations of this magnitude would be happening since May 29, 2023. The essence of this video isn't to talk about the legality or otherwise of these revocations and demolitions, but to call your attention to common things we seldom talk about in the Abuja real estate industry. If we hit the street this morning to conduct a survey, we would discover that over 90% of our respondents would not know what ground rent is. The very reason for why the FCT minister is revoking properties and demolishing the ones he can demolish. On Monday, news broke out on the internet. It affected Maitama, Asokoro, and even the PDP new national secretariat at the Central Business District was affected as well. For the purpose of design, planning, and development of Abuja, Abuja is divided into districts and cadastral zones. We have the cadastral zone A, A1, 00, cadastral zone B, C, and the rest. This morning, we are going to look at what ground rent is, how to calculate it, so that when you get to relevant offices to make your payment, you will not just pay because you are given a bill to pay. You will understand why you are paying ground rent and how much actually you are supposed to pay. And lastly, how to pay and where to pay your ground rent. For the purpose of design, planning, and development of Abuja, this city is divided into districts. That's why we have the Wuse district, Maitama, Asokoro districts, and the rest. And of course, we have the cadastral zones. The cadastral zones are not different from the districts. Each district, you have the cadastral zones there. The cadastral zone is just to tell us the rating. And for the purpose of this ground rent, we are going to hit more on the cadastral zone because each cadastral zone has a specific amount you're supposed to pay. For instance, if you go to the Kiami district now, the amount you're supposed to pay per square meter for ground rent in Kiami can never be the same with the ground rent you're supposed to pay in Maitama, which is cadastral zone A1 in this case now. So this morning, let me quickly tell us what ground rent is. This is the fee you pay to the government for using the land. Ground rent is the fee you pay to the government for using the land. We have agreed in the past that the land you are using, whether you purchased it, whether you paid for anything, and you are giving whatever document C of O or R of O, you do not own it 100%. We have agreed earlier again that nobody owns any land in Nigeria. In short, all the lands in Nigeria belong to all the citizens of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And the government is holding it in trust for us. So when you make payments to purchase any land and you're giving any document, that document is to tell you that you have the right to use the land for a specific number of years. For C of O, residential C of O, maybe 99 years. For agricultural C of O or for industrial C of O, they have their duration as well. So, ground rent, you pay it annually to the government for using the land. The revocations and demolitions we've witnessed in recent times is because certain individuals failed to pay their ground rent. So, ground rent is the fee you pay annually to the government for using the land. And the amount depends on the location of the land. Usually in cadastral zone A1, maybe like Maitama, or you have Asokoro or the Central Business District, ground rent as of today is 25 naira per square meters. 25 naira per square meter. That's because Maitama is cadastral zone A, more like number one spot in Abuja. So for a man who owns a 1,000 square meter land in Maitama, that's approximately like our traditional 100 by 100 feet, you simply multiply this 25 naira per square meter by 1,000. What does that give you? 25,000 naira. So for a man who owns a 1,000 square meter land in Maitama, what he is supposed to pay to the government annually is 25,000 naira. So imagine losing your land that is worth 3 billion, 5 billion naira in a prime location in Maitama because of your failure to pay 25,000 naira annually to the government as ground rent. It doesn't just end there. So many of us don't even know how to go about this thing. How do I pay my ground rent? You simply approach the Abuja Geographic Information System, which we call here AGIS. When you get there, you submit your document to them. Normally, for your ROF or your CFO, the amount you're supposed to pay as ground rent per square meter is stated right there. If it's somewhere like Kiami, you probably know you're paying 15 naira per square meter. If it's Metama or central area, maybe you're paying 25 naira per square meter. So once you see it there, hand it over to them. They calculate your ground rent. If you've been owing for years, they put everything all together. And then you log into Remitter, generate your code, make payment, and you're done. For isolated cases that I picked on Monday, I read that someone in a prime location in Metama, somewhere, I can't remember, is it Ghana Street or Amazon, is owing ground rent for 43 years. When I did the mathematics, I got about 630 something thousand, or approximately 640,000. So imagine losing your land somewhere around Ghana Street or somewhere in Amazon because of 600,000 naira. Sounds ridiculous. All right, so today we've talked about what ground rent means, how to calculate it, and how and where to pay your ground rent. In case you do not understand all of what we've talked about, or you want to know more, or you don't even know how to go about paying your ground rent, feel free to contact us 247. We're a professional real estate company headquartered in Abuja. We are developers, we have the technical know-how, and we have the professionals that are ready to serve you 247. In our next episode, we are going to talk about demolition proper. Everything we've talked about here today is revocation due to failure to pay ground rent and all. In our next episode, we are going to talk about demolition proper. Keep a date with us.